So I get to be the one that says everything he said. Pretty much. So our slides are sort of similar. So what I try to do here is just kind of give an overview of what we're looking at as far as we're taking through donations. So most of the properties that we have right now come into our pipeline are acquisitions that we've gotten through donations from banks. Our primary focus is looking at the conservation of property. So the properties we have identified are ones in blocks where there is a good deal of stability of the housing stock already. Not necessarily, there are going to be vacancies and foreclosures on those blocks, but the physical structures are there. One of the things we want to avoid if we can is a vacant lot in the middle of a block of houses because it just kind of contributes to a downward spiral in some cases. Other ones are ones where we're looking at them specifically because we believe the houses need to be demolished. We want to try to execute a deconstruction strategy and link up with workforce development. So we're taking them intentionally knowing they have to be removed, but that's okay. We're also using these acquisitions similar to the South Suburban Land Bank to engage our partners and support community revitalization and to really just test run our system so we can increase our volume in the future. So it's important to kind of keep in mind South Suburban had a head start, so to speak, on us, and I've been trying to catch up to Russ. So we'll catch up at some point. We've been following a lot of what they've done and using a lot of the same approaches. So these are the types of properties we're looking at right now. They're mostly single-family homes. There's a couple of 2-unit buildings. There's one vacant lot, although there are a lot of vacant lots that have been offered to us that we're considering accepting. With the vacant lots, because it's so difficult to develop them, the sticking point for us is to make sure we have the ability to convey those vacant lots for a community repurpose. So the one lot we've acquired is slated right now to be turned into a community park in a suburban municipality. The other ones are ones that we're looking at doing for community gardens or some kind of other project, mostly in the city of Chicago, and hopefully with some kind of cash attached to them so that the group that's getting them has the money to actually take over the properties and be able to maintain them in the first years. These are relatively low value properties that have the potential for rehab. So all the homes that we are looking at are ones we've gone through or at least considered the rehab costs. I think with the announcement today of this new source of funding from the private bank, there's also the opportunity that people who would be looking at these homes in their neighborhood would say, I'm willing to take that home because I want to live there, this is my community, and now there's a resource they can get their hands on to actually acquire the homes, have them rehab with responsible general contractor partners, and move into them with affordable mortgages. And then the last point is, some of these are deconstruction candidates where we're intentionally looking at properties that have the potential for salvage. So for those of you who are familiar with deconstruction, the basic idea is taking a home down stick by stick and recycling or repurposing the building material itself. So one of the ironies is that in the Chicago area, we have a lot of homes that were built more than 100 years ago, which are in many cases too small or functionally obsolete or just, it's sort of like the house I grew up in. I'm the 9th of 10 kids. So when we moved out of our house, we had gotten full value out of it for anybody. So, but those homes have old growth timber, they have building materials, they have concrete, they have brick, they have metal. There's windows that can be salvaged. There's lots of items that can be salvaged. So if you're taking a building down, instead of taking it down and putting it into a dumpster someplace or trying to bury it in the ground, you're basically saying, let's put this building material to productive use. And because the standards of which a lot of these homes were built, when they were built 100 years ago, they're much better built homes than they are ones you're seeing that were built 30 or 40 years ago, potentially. So assuming there hasn't been a fire or such extensive water damage that everything's completely rotted, there's actually the ability to remove the home, salvage the material, put some people to work, and sort of make lemonade out of lemons. Acquisitions by purchase would be homes that we secure at below market values and coordinate redevelopment for community benefit. What that basically means is we get homes offered to us where we're getting them potentially below market. So there's an opportunity for us to acquire them, hold them for a community partner or a development partner, and then convey them where the benefit that we got of the below market value can be passed on to sustain affordability or to provide them with the ability to develop that property within a realistic budget. Again, testing the strategy for future use. One of the reasons why you don't see any homes is because the homes that we move to acquire are not working out the way we anticipated. One of the challenges, anyone who's done work in this area, you'll realize is the homes that you get from somebody, there's a lot of buyer beware that goes on. Because we are government entities, we're not really looking at taking on properties where the risk is so great. We're also different from the South Suburban Land Bank in that we're not going to be rehabbing these properties ourselves. So if we don't have an end user who's willing to take on that risk, or we identify an issue during the sort of inspection period where there's a structural issue or a really significant issue, then we just won't be able to acquire those. We'll pass on those. So in one case, we had a property we were looking to acquire. It turns out that it had broken sewer pipe, environmental contamination. It had a second floor bathroom that was not built to code, that couldn't be there. So you start to go through this process where you say to the person who's selling it to you, thank you for this offer. We thought we had a deal, but then it turned out that you misled us on multiple things because there are things that, if not misled, were not disclosed, and we therefore have a challenge to close. So we're still working through some of those kinks, trying to figure out how to avoid the difficulties that you have when you're trying to acquire properties. The other thing is, we're starting to see, quite honestly, we're seeing more market recovery. So ideally, we don't want to be eating away a market recovery if a private market transaction can go forward. So if there's homes that we're looking to acquire that we know could sell to just a home buyer off the street or out of the MLS, then we're happy to get out of the way and make that happen. Other things we're looking at. So we're really focused much more than the single-family homes. We're looking at pursuing properties through the abandonment statute to really use the statute more effectively. We are looking at commercial industrial parcels where there's a stage development, not unlike the Oak Forest project. We're a little further behind, so we're working with our partners in Cook County to try to identify specific strategic parcels where we can use the land bank. We're also looking at the land bank as a tool for addressing issues around water management, transferring to development, energy efficiency retrofits, energy production, urban agriculture, workforce development, and other what I would call social goods projects. So there's a lot of stuff that's going on within the land bank that's just strategies developing, where I think our expectation is in the months to come, you'll see the land bank getting involved in more and more things. But because the land bank is new and staffing is just getting started, there's just simply a capacity issue of how much you can take on at this early juncture. Okay, and again, if you want more information, that's the contact information for the land bank.